You are listening to KC Sports Network, the #1 podcast network for today's Kansas City sports fans. With former players from your favorite teams, informed perspectives, and former insiders, this is the place for you. KC Sports Network is proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
Welcome back to another episode of Booth Review presented by Emprise Bank. Nobody loves to bank. They love what banking can help them achieve. Emprise Bank is looking to say yes to those with a dream, whether it's saving for your first home, a new car, starting a family, starting a business. Emprise is your partner in possible. That's Emprise Bank, member FDIC. It's so much fun having them part of everything we're doing at KC Sports Network. It's fun to have my guests today. Carter Stanley, former Kansas Jayhawk, former KU quarterback. You've been on this show before. Carter, my man, appreciate you coming back and hanging out.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Kent, thanks for having me, man. Glad to be back on.
Dude, Scott leaves and the podcast just gets infinitely more handsome. I don't know what to tell you, dude. I hope he's listening to this. Dude, it's great to have you back. A lot's changed since the last time that we talked, right? Like, I mean, this team has exceeded a lot of people's expectations. You're a recent alum. You've been a part of that program very recently. What's it been like to see this team get to bowl eligibility and already have 6 wins under the belt through 10 games?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Obviously, I think last time I was on, it was maybe right before the season started, but if you told me we'd be 6-4 at this point, I don't know, man. I don't know if I believe you, but it's been incredible. And, being able to watch them any given Saturday and know they obviously have a legitimate chance to win. And, at this point, more likely to win than lose. So it's been awesome.
All right. So I have a college background. I played football and baseball in college, so it's not necessarily the same because it's a lot higher stakes, at KU. But I was part of a baseball team in college. Weren't particularly great, but our coach always kind of thanked us for being part of that foundation of building a program. They went on to bigger things. You're kind of in that boat when it comes to Kansas football, where you guys didn't necessarily have the same kind of success that maybe they are to this point. But you were one of those foundational pieces that kind of helped continue to build, build upon. I think your last year was one of the brighter spots of the last decade for this football team. So what kind of pride do you feel about being part of the foundation towards, and I know the coaching staffs were different and everything, but you were there with some of these guys. You were a leader for, a recent version of this football team. How does it feel to kind of be part of the foundation that wound up leading to these moments here?
Yeah, it definitely is cool. I'd say the coolest thing for me is seeing the guys that were like true freshmen when I was there in 2019 and seeing how far they've come. Like, just to throw out some names: Kenny Logan, Mason Fairchild, Earl Bostick, Sam Burt, a number of those guys. And just been so cool to see them, how far they've come in these last couple of years. And, a lot of those guys are now either team captains or, leading in some sort of statistical category. So, yeah, it's been awesome just to see those guys stick it out, and, their success is showing right now.
Yeah. And it's just, I know there's probably a lot of pride getting to see, some of those guys that you previously played with, but also just getting to see the growth of this program over the last couple of years, and just getting to see this team. Are you going to the bowl game? Like, is that something in the cards for you?
Yeah, no doubt. Just waiting to see where it is, but I'll definitely be going to the bowl game.
You're in Florida though, right?
Yeah. So I'm hoping we can somehow make it to the Cheez-It Bowl. Because, man, I tell you what, I'd probably tailgate that for a week. But it's like just over an hour away from where I'm at right now. And regardless of where they go, I'm going for sure.
I figured. I think you're probably, I was going to say, you're probably hoping for Orlando though, right?
Right.
I think, and I'm not like, I think no one's in any position whatsoever to be turning their nose at any bowl game. So like, right. Even if it's in Memphis, if it's in, wherever,
doesn't matter.
there's good golf in Phoenix.
Right.
So you could probably catch a round or two there in, before the game. You've got some options there. Whatever works for you, buddy. Let's talk about the quarterbacks though, because we've seen two different quarterbacks play this year for Kansas. Well, we've actually technically seen three, but we've seen big sample sizes of two quarterbacks. You got the Jalen Daniels era at the beginning of the year, start 5-0. Obviously, we know the story there. You see the Jason Bean. Let's start with Jalen Daniels though, because this kid, what we saw out of him, the raw talent, the carryover from the end of the season to the beginning of the year, everything translated, and grew in a big way. And it feels like this offense and this offensive staff really figured out a way to kind of accentuate his strengths in a big way as well over the offseason.
Yeah, no doubt. They, I think there was an interview with Jalen at the end of last year where, he commented on how he wants to pick up in the 2020 season right where they left off. And, that's almost like an understatement. He came out so hot to start off the year, and it was just incredible to watch. It was some of the most efficient quarterback play and just offensive production I've seen out of the college level. And, it's obviously really unfortunate that he got hurt, but, Jason Bean stepped up, and, that second half against TCU, he lit it up. I had one bad play that, it happens, but he hit four touchdowns in that second half, and he's been really good stepping in. And it's been awesome watching the coaching staff kind of adjust to their different styles of play, because at the end of the day, they both are similar. They both can run well, throw well, but they do play a little bit differently. And, it's been interesting seeing how some of the plays have been called differently.
And the thing I come back to all the time when I'm looking at both of those guys and looking at how they've been able to diversify that offense between both guys, it's the offensive line. That group has played so well, and what they've been able to do, kind of adjusting blocking schemes differently for each quarterback has just it's blown my mind how good that offensive line has played and how they've been able to kind of adjust things on the fly. And I mean, I'm sure some of that stuff has already been built in, don't get me wrong, but just the way that they've been able to execute so many different things has just been amazing.
Yeah, no, it's been, it all starts up front. That's, old school saying and cliche, but it really is the truth. And those guys have been so good for us, whether it's getting the holes going in the run game or, obviously protecting for the quarterback in the pass game, but it's been incredible to watch.
So, former quarterback, how cool has it been to kind of have there been any moments this year, just some of the play calling that you've kind of seen that just kind of perked your ears up as a former quarterback? Somebody that has, kind of got some different perspectives on things. Anything that you've just really appreciated, play calling wise, schematically, just anything that is kind of geeked you out a little bit?
Oh, it's like every Saturday I'll see something new, and it's just mind-boggling, just what Coach Leipold and Kotelnicki put together, and the rest of that staff. It's been incredible. I think it's really good how they get a lot of motion going pre-snap, whether it's running backs, tight ends, receivers, and that does do a lot for the quarterbacks as far as indicators on what kind of coverage, whether it's man or zone, and just little things like that can go a long way and just make it that much easier for for everyone, not only the quarterback but everyone on the field. And it's been awesome watching them.
They've thrown so much stuff at people. It seems like they're leaning a little bit more on some of the unbalanced stuff lately. They've been throwing that, but they've thrown that all year. But it just kind of seems like with Jason Bean, they're throwing a little bit of that. They've had some fun kind of plays off of that kind of created some confusion. I think about Quentin Skinner, where he was technically one of the technically ineligible receiver, got behind the line of scrimmage or something like that. Was that they were able to throw to him, but right. They've run so successfully out of all that stuff. It's been impressive. But with Jalen, you got the triple. You got some of the triple auction stuff that they're kind of introducing. With Bean, I don't think they really want him, having to make too many choices and potentially running up inside on some of the read stuff, or, it doesn't seem like it's the same kind of stuff that they're trying to run necessarily with him. But the way that they've just been able to kind of logically build on top of each other. I've just been really impressed with how much they're able to throw at those guys. I don't know, like when you were at KU, was it a pretty expansive playbook, or do you feel like what you're seeing with these guys a little bigger, about the same? Like, is this a similar workload, or what do you think?
It depends on the offensive coordinator, I guess. Like, I mean, some years we just kept it very simple, and heck, I can still work, but I would love to see their offensive playbook and truly see how many plays they have, because I was thinking this, I think the first 4 games or so, when they would just roll out these new plays, and I don't even know how you get that much time in a week to really rep those plays. So it's amazing. Some of it kind of seems like a trick play or like a gadget play, but they make it look routine. And it's definitely been awesome to watch the different plays and schemes that they run.
The thing that I love that they seem to be really good at doing is they're throwing a lot at people, but a lot of the core principles stay the same. A lot of the same routes that you're seeing Luke Grimm run, you're seeing Lawrence Arnold run. They're keeping things simple for some of these other guys like a Tanaka Scott. Jared Casey's gonna run a lot of unders, or he's gonna run a little leak, or he's gonna run into the flat. Like, even though they're throwing all this stuff, like I think one of the things that they're able to kind of stay to the identity and the strengths of all their players. Like, that's just been so amazing to see how they're able to just kind of meld all these pieces together.
Right. Yeah. They're not making those guys do too much. I think you just hit it, nail on the head right there. And Mason Fairchild on those seam routes, and, got Skinner on the post routes, and they stick to what those guys are good at. And, just a great job by those coaches recognizing, the talent to run those specific types of plays.
Yep. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this. All right. We are talking with Carter Stanley, former Kansas quarterback, just talking all things Jayhawks. It's a good time to be following this team. By the way, we're having a KU K-State tailgate at Manhattan for the Kansas K-State game, just so y'all know. There's going to be some more details that are going to be coming out in the KC Sports Network, but we're going to try to not just get in a giant, brawl together. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really cool. So we'll just keep an eye out for some news on that. We'll be announcing some things shortly. Carter, have you had a chance to get to a game, by the way, yet?
Not yet this year. It's been killing me. I think I've watched every second of the games and even rewatched a number of them. But the one I was trying to get to was this upcoming weekend against Texas. But not going to be able to make it. But definitely making the bowl game.
I was gonna say, hey, you're gonna be there. We already know. You already said you were. I got to go to a couple games, and it was crazy to see, because I grew up in Eudora, Kansas. I mean, 6 miles outside of Lawrence on K10, right? I grew up there. My pops worked at KU for 20 years. He was a campus pastor there. And I went to a lot of KU games. And getting to see the booth packed again was just a whole different thing, man. It was special to see that place kind of revived in some ways, and it's nuts to see how quickly that thing turned around. That TCU game, I wasn't at that one, but that one, I mean, could you imagine 2 years ago, college game day coming to KU?
Yeah, I mean, no. To be honest with you, no, I couldn't imagine that, and that's what's so crazy about the staff, and it's even above. It's obviously the players, the coaching staff, but man, I mean, Travis Goff and the people behind the scenes in the athletic department that made that hire, and just the trickle down effect that it's had. It's been incredible. They're fully bought in, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the future of this program looks like. I'm hoping that Lance Leipold sticks around as long as he wants to stick around.
Blank check.
I know, right? Like
man.
I'm not even an alum. I might get in on the endowment or something like. I might have to jump in or something like that. It's too much fun to see this program. It's like, and it's funny. It's because like KU football, like there's been a lot of struggles. I mean, I know we know what you've had to deal with. I don't need you to have to elaborate on coaching changes and some of that kind of stuff and all that. It's just it would be so ironic if KU goes out. They have an incredible season, an incredible 18-month turnaround. They lose their guy. They gotta figure out a way to keep Lance Leipold around. And like, I genuinely don't think he's a guy that's gonna jump. Like, I genuinely feel like he's a guy that wants to build something here, and it doesn't feel like he's even started, which is impressive. Right. It feels like I have a good feeling still that he's gonna be around. I'm very hopeful and optimistic.
Yeah, I agree, and just like, the overall community of Lawrence is just so supportive. And, back in my time there, it was just, obviously not too many great years and, no great years actually, but, no, the community was always behind us. They loved their sports teams. They were always just, really wanting a good football product. And, to see that come to real life now, it's just been incredible. And yeah, we got to do whatever it takes to lock our guy up.
And the staff, and the coaching staff too.
Yeah,
like, it's just like, they just like, all from what I've heard, it's like they're just a bunch of football nerds that just, like they're guys that just love football and love the process and all that stuff. And like, they just seem like the right kind of dudes that should be in Lawrence. I just hope that group sticks around as long as they can. Carter, what do you miss? Like, not people. I know people's like an answer a lot of people get, but like, what do you miss about Lawrence? Like, is there restaurants? Is there bars? What are the things that you miss the most about Lawrence?
Oh man, I really can't pin it down to one thing. And to be honest with you, you just named the main three things. It was the people, 100%. Coming from Vero Beach, Florida, not knowing what to expect, and just being welcomed with open arms by, the nicest people in the world. Like, there was, I didn't know what to expect when going out there, but everyone's like, yeah, the Midwest people are so nice, like, just like genuine people. And, I feel like Lawrence is just like the pinnacle of that. And, incredible college town, loved it. Definitely a good time. You don't have to look too far to find a good time in Lawrence. And and Mastery too. Mastery kind of embodies that. You got restaurants and some fun bars and whatnot. But Lawrence is great.
Yeah, it's a decent spot. I've been around there for most of my life, man. It's just like, I've been in that area just growing up. This is gonna sound really like some people. This is kind of like the most hit or miss thing ever, right? So I love Pizza Shuttle. I have loved Pizza Shuttle for my entire life. And see, you're like, I don't know. It's all right. It's okay. I know it's trash pizza. Like, as far as like, it's not. I don't want to call it trash. I love it. I genuinely love Pizza Shuttle. And I know like some people have higher standards and preferences for pizza. I don't care. I love that place. I've been eating there forever. They finally got one like in Johnson County here in Overland Park. I'm hyped about it. I can tell though, that probably wasn't your favorite. It wasn't your favorite pizza spot in Lawrence. I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't dislike it. I just didn't have it as much as some other places. Like, for convenience reasons. Yeah, I went to Wheel Pizza all the time.
2 times.
So that was definitely a spot. And then let's see here. I'd say Papakino's on Mass.
Yeah.
That's a good spot. Staple on some Sundays and whatnot. But Pizza Shuttle, I didn't mind it. It was just I didn't catch myself going there.
I get it, dude. I get it. I totally get it. Don't worry. I have a fondness for it that just it started early childhood. We can get back to football though. I do have some questions, like just a question for you about, because like right now we're sitting here and we're looking at there's a little bit of mystery about the quarterback situation. Jason Bean goes out, right? Ethan Vasco comes in and plays. There's obviously the Jalen Daniels, question mark about all these guys. But I think what would be interesting for some people to kind of hear about, because you played a lot of football, you had to endure a full season, you had to, and you had to get yourself up and ready to play and overcome, some nicks and bruises at time. What does the process of getting your body ready look like for a college kid, a college quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, it's first off, it starts way before the season even starts. It's now I know with the strength coach and the rest of the staff they have, Coach Gildersleeve, from the looks of it and seeing the testing results they had even before the season, those guys made incredible improvements physically. And I mean, it's a long season. You got to get ready. It's from, December to August that you have that time to prepare. But once you're in the season, you're every week you're going to be nicked up for sure, whether it's something that's going to carry over several weeks or, maybe you're going to be better by Friday, right before the game. But when you say you're banged up, you're done with that game on Saturday, the recovery process starts literally right after that game. Like, you're in the locker room listening to the coach's speech, and then you go to the training room and you're getting assessed for whatever it might be. And those guys, they're in the training room all throughout the week. And it's so crucial because, at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do, depending on what the injury is. But no, that rehab and therapy sessions, they're crucial just to be able to feel good on Saturdays. Because, if you're not, no matter who you are, if you're not 100%, it's going to show. And it's been good to see that those guys, at least he's staying healthy from the looks of it, and it sounds like we're going to get Jalen back soon. So hopefully that can work out well.
It's something that I just think about with like college football and just all of it, right? Because like in the NFL, you get injury reports. And so like there is a list of players that are explaining, you're getting a list of what people are being treated for, right? And then you go to the college side and it's a complete mystery.
Yep.
And so there's this layer of grace that I don't think college kids get, where they don't have people may not have a full understanding of what every college kid is doing to get ready for a game. There's a mystery surrounding, these players' statuses, and maybe a guy isn't having his best game because he probably shouldn't be out there. He didn't practice all week because they're trying to just keep him healthy and get him to Saturday. And so there's this like layer of grace that I don't think college kids get at times, where what y'all do to put yourself through a season isn't fully appreciated necessarily always the same way that even like there's some information that you have from an NFL perspective. And like people don't realize, like, even like you guys didn't win a ton of football games, but you had a bunch of guys on your football team that loved to play the game and that were willing to put themselves through it, even if you guys only had 2-3 wins on the board, right? And like I just like there's just a level of appreciation that I don't like when people are too hard on college kids when it comes to all that.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. I never truly thought of it that way. It's like you said, NFL, if you get a guy that gets his toenail stepped on, they got to report it. Otherwise, they're going to get fined. And meanwhile, for all we know, we could have I'm not going to say a name to do a jinx or something like that, but say we got a running back that's battling a high ankle sprain, and you're out there watching it, and it's like, oh man, he's really not hitting the hole today, and I didn't hear of any injury. And yeah, I mean that's just a great point, and it is a battle for those guys, and it all comes down to you got to protect yourself, but at the end of the day, those guys, they love football enough to play through some of those injuries.
This is kind of like my first, like this podcast is kind of my first experience doing like college sports media stuff, right? I've primarily covered the Chiefs the last few years, and I just like out of curiosity, and how do you deal with criticism as a college kid? Some of it just like from my outside perspective, it just doesn't always seem completely fair. And I don't know. How do you deal with all that? Or do you even pay attention to it?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone kind of handles it differently. It's one of those things where if you don't play a good game and you want to see what people are saying, it's not too hard nowadays. You could find out that stuff pretty easily. And I was never one to really put myself through that, and I don't think anyone should, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, you got fans that are super passionate, and they have a certain level of expectation for you and the team. And as sports fans, we naturally get let down if you don't meet those expectations. But I think as a player, it's super important to not let that get to your head if you are seeing some of those negative reports or or tweets or anything like that. But NFL, it's a different deal because you're getting a huge game check, and you're at the pinnacle of the profession. But college, you got to understand that those guys are they're busting their tail and obviously trying to do their best.
Yeah, it's just been a fascinating dynamic to see, and I try not to be too critical of kids. Like I think there's lines that it's just interesting. I try not to cross too many lines with that. I'm just kind of, you love football, and you're doing it because you love football, right? Yeah. And so and we don't have. It's not in any college coach's benefit to provide context on anybody as far as their injury. So like that's where it can get a little bit tricky at times. Let's just talk about Texas real quick before you get out. What do you think Kansas needs to do to pull off an upset against Texas? What are a few things that you think that they really need to emphasize to knock Texas off again?
Man, I mean, they're good. They're good this year. I know the record isn't shocking. They're 6-4, but I think they could line it up with anyone on any given Saturday and come out with a win. So I think the main thing is stopping their running back, Bijan Robinson. He's one of the best players in college football right now. I think everyone's obviously heard of Quinn Ewers, their quarterback, incredible talent. And, they got some really speedy wide receivers. Worthy is really good. And I didn't get to catch the game against TCU that they had last week, but I mean, if you hold TCU to 17 points, then your defense is probably pretty good too. So, and then, same thing with Alabama week 1. I think they held them at 21 points. So they're going to be a good team. I think we got to do what we've done best all year, and that's run the ball. You got to establish the run game. Can't turn the ball over. Can't commit a lot of penalties. And, if you look at our games this whole season, the games where we've been able to run the ball well and, limit penalties and turnovers, we've either won or been right there for 60 minutes. So I think those are going to be the keys. And hopefully we had another one here.
I'm with you on all those points. The only other thing I hammer a lot, and like I think KU's done a really good job structurally building their defense, reducing explosives. They're gonna try to keep a lid on things. They're gonna try to force you to drive down the field, and it's not making college kids be consistent down the field can be it can be a formula for success. There's a lot of pressure on. I mean, Quinn Ewers is 19 years old.
Right.
If you can force and sustain long drives, like, there's a chance that you can, force a mistake or something. So I agree. Hey, stop the run, keep a lid on that thing. Good things will happen. You predicting a win?
Yeah. I'm predicting.
Right with your boys? Right with your boys.
Here's my score. I'm going to go ahead and say we get Jalen Daniels back.
Woo!
Hopefully, and nothing against Bean. Bean's been incredible, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. But I think we get Jalen back, and if we could do those things that we just mentioned, I think KU wins it 34-28.
Ooh, I like it. So if Jalen plays, then they get to bring back some stuff that Texas hasn't seen for 5 weeks of tape.
Yep.
And West Virginia looked lost when KU threw a bunch of stuff at them that they had never seen.
Right.
I think that there is some. I think if Jalen plays and if Jalen is close to 100%, I do think that they can pull this game off. I genuinely believe that. I'm with you lockstep. I think I'll go KU. Why not? I'm gonna roll with you, Carter. I'm gonna go 31. I'm gonna go 31-28. I'm gonna say Jacob Borchilla kicks a big field goal late.
Love it.
How about that? Let's go with that. So we're gonna go KU Dubs. Carter, man, dude, thanks for coming on again. I really appreciate you coming on and talking with me.
Yeah, Ken, always a good time, man. Hoping our guys could get that win this weekend, and appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. That's Carter Stanley. I'm Kent Swanson. This has been Booth Review. We'll catch you later.